Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If it's not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I just kind of have to share this with you guys. I thought this was my shirt. It's my little guy's shirt. Wearing my children's clothes again. He's going to be so mad. I had to start the live. This is going to take me forever to find my clothes. Okay, so this reading is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who have no Piscean in our chart. We're not dealing with a Piscean. But we find ourselves on this video really, really resonating, okay? So this is going to be a really intense reading. I could already feel it. There's a lot of stuff that just, I don't know, it's like something changed overnight, literally overnight, last night. And we're going to kind of see the effects of it today. Well, maybe not necessarily all today, but it's going to start today. Today is the greatest. All right. Shazam. Yeah. Oh, that's what it says. Yes, it says Shazam. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to do it deck by deck. So we need to assess things moment by moment, okay? This need to assess really comes from, it's like our foundation is almost like being broken apart so that a new one can be established. Just like before they lay asphalt, they have to first break apart the old asphalt, clear it out, and then, you know, reestablish a solid foundation. I also get, for some of us, what we thought was a solid foundation actually wasn't. It just appeared to be. So this might be like touching on some of the relationships, friendships, work connects. That's what I heard, work connects. Work connections? Work connects. I'm assuming it's work connections. It wasn't properly established. And so what's happening now is it's being broken apart just so the proper foundation can be set. This doesn't necessarily mean a relationship or friendship is going to end. But let's be honest, that's been the trend for the past how many messages, like shit's about to end. Things that weren't real, things that kind of just like out of convenience, preference, because of benefit, all these like really questionable reasons to be around, to continue the connection. That's going to be corrected. We're all going through different degrees of this. So just, you know, live moment to moment for now, okay? You have to allow yourself to just really assess, because what might seem okay today, it might shift tomorrow and not be okay. All right. And so you have to be able to continue moving and shifting with your life. Nothingness. It's a sense that you're being put in a place of nothingness. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose everything. It could for some. But like the general feel of this message, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose everything. But it could absolutely be an indicator that the things that are no longer aligned with you and your growth, that's going to be allowed to fade away. That's going to be allowed to kind of just disappear. Usually when that happens, it's a massive ascension cycle you're entering. So quite a few of us have had multiple ascension cycles at this point. Most of us haven't had our first major. Just because you've had ascension cycles doesn't mean it's the first major wake up, okay? You might feel like you've already woken up. Usually it takes a while for you to recognize that you're actually being forced awake by your soul. So with that, I think most of us haven't experienced the actual wake up. It's something so profound and so tumultuous. It's like a total, almost like a deconstruction of your life. So, gosh, that's going to be really hard once you actually go through it. You're going to feel like you have no one and you have nothing. Whether you really do or not, it's going to feel like that for a period. Okay, that's just how ascension, the first major ascension cycle tends to go. And it's guidance, okay? Guidance. You're supposed to allow your soul to guide you to where you need to be. Forget about the labels. Forget about like your perception of how you think it's supposed to be, because how you perceive things, your expectation of how it's going to play out, it's usually not in alignment with what your soul already has planned for you. Okay. So, gosh, that's an intense feeling, like a really intense feeling. I'm wondering, I'm wondering, all right. So, ooh, you're closing one chapter of your life. You're at the final, well, you're closing the book. You're at the final part, the final chapter, and you're closing that entire book. Really, the only time the whole book has to be closed is if you're shifted into a higher gear. Is that what that means? You're being shifted into a higher level of consciousness. Once you shift into a higher level of consciousness, the person you were before that happens is gone. You don't just go back to that. You really, trust me, you don't go back to that. You're never that person again. You just aren't. Even if life becomes very difficult for you, like you struggle with your internal stuff, you just can't go back to that. You can't even go back to the friendships that were established during that time. Okay, because all of that gets cleared away. It gets changed. You're not the same person anymore. So trying to reestablish old connections with people after you've changed, you can try it. You can try it and see, but it's probably not going to work. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't even show you the cards. You're being asked to close an entire book. You're writing a new book in this life. And as you write it, really, there are no rules for what you're writing. But just know you have the power to write something beautiful or to write something very painful. I even heard the word tragic. Don't write a tragedy. What's the point of that? Well, no, some people need tragedies in order to learn. I'm like that too. So who the hell am I? Seriously, some people only learn through tragedy. So it doesn't make you a bad person. It just kind of makes it a little bit more struggle. So hold on to your hope. Hold on to it until you're ready to allow that hope to ripen into a knowing. Okay. This is about major growth, Pisces, like major growth. This is about you reaching even higher levels of understanding, understanding, overstanding of yourself and your soul. Card number 22, letting go. I mean, I think we got this card yesterday as well. Seems like we keep getting the same cards. You have to let go. You have to. You have to. And if you feel like you've been hooked, because, we're fishies. If you feel like you've been hooked, get some pliers and rip that bitch out. There's no point in just continuing to be like, oh God, I was hooked. Yeah, remove it. You can do that. You can remove that. You can choose to not allow yourself to be dragged through life, but that's a choice you have to make. Okay. You can't just like expect someone to suddenly arrive and she's done being dragged. Yeah. My soul would be like, okay, who the fuck is you? And we don't listen to anybody. That's what would happen. So you have to choose, okay? Then rest. Maybe it's in that rest that you're really going to find the answers you're looking for. You know, like why do we not allow ourselves to rest? Why do we have to force ourselves to keep going? Sometimes the greatest amount of learning comes in that period where you kind of want to give up, give in, whatever it is, whatever you choose for yourself. That's going to help you to grow the most. And other people might see your choice as like you made the wrong decision, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, wrong decision according to whom? According to someone who doesn't have to live through the consequences of that choice. Like, for example, it's so easy for the people in our lives to tell us, like we should leave our relationship, we should stay in our relationship. They really have no idea what's going on in the relationship. You might have periods where you tell them the ugly stuff that's going on, but is that the whole relationship? No, it's not. So you have to decide for yourself, because what ends up happening, you know, if you listen to your girlfriends and they say, oh, he's just not worth your time, you should leave him, yada, yada, yada. What happens? If that was a mistake and you later realize, oh, I was just having a tantrum. Oh my gosh, this is the love of my life. And they've moved on. You're stuck with that. You know, you're stuck with that. There's no like, oh no, you have to forgive me because so-and-so told me I should leave you. And that's not my fault. It is your fault. You decided that. You know, I mean, there's really no need for fault, but for blame. But if you really need to blame someone, you decided that. You decided to listen to someone else. So listen to yourself, okay? Let yourself hear what other people have to say, but don't base your decisions strictly on someone telling you what to do. So let's see. Yeah. You're allowing yourself to be depleted. How can you feed others when your own table is empty? We oftentimes allow our table to get completely emptied, and then we wonder why we feel so starved. Do you ever wonder why you allow yourself to put up with so much shit? What happens when you're starving? You wait too long to eat. There's nothing cooked. So what am I going to eat? I might eat whatever's available. If I'm already feeling sick, I'm going to eat whatever is available. Like, I can't eat corn, but if that's what's available, I'm going to eat the fucking corn. I'm going to let my stomach hurt so bad for a few days. I'm going to let my belly get super swollen and feel so painful because that's all that's available. So when you deplete yourself, you then become more susceptible to just accepting whatever is available instead of understanding what you deserve, what you're worth, how you should be treated. You'll just accept whatever. You know, like if you're so starved for attention, if you're so starved for acknowledgement, you'll let anyone stay by you. As long as they're giving you what you need, what you want, you'll go ahead and do it. So a lot of people who come to me regarding these patterns of like abusive relationships, like they get into abusive relationships and it's a pattern. They keep finding the same type of person in other relationships. And they ask me why. And I'm like, well, if you can't find the value in yourself, if you can't seem to love yourself, you'll look for people who will do this for you, who will make you feel loved, who will make you feel valuable. And just because they make you feel that way doesn't mean they really value you. Once they have you, once you're addicted to them, then that game is over. They don't have to play that game with you anymore. And that's when all the ugly shit starts. Okay. That's when all the ugliness starts. I'm like really not feeling my hair today. So I've been on TikTok quite a bit, just watching all sorts of shit. And I came across this girl's video. She has a black eye and like just, yeah, her leg was all cut up. It was so bad. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I ended up going on her profile and looking at more of her videos. There's another video not far from the first video that I happened to come across where her nose is broken. Clearly, there's blood all over her face, all over her chest. I'm like, what the actual? And then she's screaming, crying. He did this to me. And I'm like, how many videos do you have to make before you recognize it's not going to change? It's not going to change. What happened that caused you to believe this was all you were going to have in life? And it's not that you're condemning her. It's not that I'm like, girl, you're so stupid. I'm like trying to understand, like, what is the psychology that causes you to stay? And so I had to look through more of her videos and I found the actual story. So she was with this person for a little bit and then they split up for like 2 years or something like that, a year or two. And she started seeing someone else. And then that relationship ended and her life was good. Or no. She was single for 2 years or a year, whatever it was. After she stopped dating him, she was single for a bit. And then she was going to move, get her life all like straight. She was in a good place. And he saw that. And so he came to her and he begged her to give him another chance because he wants his family together. And it took 2 months before he started beating the absolute shit out of her. And I was like, oh, so it was that. That was the end. And I finally understood, okay, I get it. Because we are taught that sometimes that in order to be seen as a good person, as a good mother, you have to keep the family together. And that's not always what's best for the family. I mean, he was doing this to her in front of their daughter, okay, their toddler daughter. So really, you have to find what is the way they get in. Is it something like that where you guys have kids together and you have to like, you have to be his ride or die? I'm telling you right now, you fucking lay hands on me, I'm gonna kill you. Like, no, there's no ride or die shit. The thug in me comes out. Either you're gone or we're both gone. You're not laying hands on me. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. So, ladies, gentlemen, also, you have to recognize the ways in which you are allowing manipulation into your life. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's what you deserve. I'm saying if you have the power to choose those cycles and you recognize how you're choosing those cycles, the ways in which you are allowing yourself to believe, to justify these types of cycles, then that means you have the power to choose differently if you want differently. Some people, that's what they know, that's what they want, that's what they're comfortable with. I mean, by all means, it's your life. As long as you're not beating on me, I'm just, I don't understand it. I wouldn't accept it for myself, but I'm not you. I'm not in the same lessons that you are. You know what I mean? So yeah, is that a cry? You have to make sure that you understand where your psychology is rooted. For that story that I shared for the girl on TikTok, she's in a beautiful relationship now. She understood for herself, like how he convinced her to give him another chance. And, sometimes people come back into your life just because they weren't done abusing you in the first place. That's why I never allow anyone back into my life. Once you're gone, you're gone. Whatever connection we had, whether it's a friendship or whatever it is, you're gone. You're gone. I'm not going to wish bad for you, but I'm not going to allow you back in. You only get to hurt me one time. So card number 8, everything in balance. Are you balancing your life? Are you allowing yourself to kind of wiggle, If you're in that position with a small child, you have to break the cycle. Sometimes it's because of that small child that you continue to choose to be a part of that cycle, unfortunately. Unfortunately, quite a few cultures, my culture included, teach you that you have to just suck it up and take it. Once you have a child together, that's it. You made that choice, you're stupid, and you have to stick it out. That's what you get. You know what I mean? Like, I don't personally believe that, but that's kind of what the culture teaches you. You have to stick it out. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. So open your arms. If your arms are closed because of all the shit that you've been through, then all the good stuff that's coming to you is not going to arrive. Allow yourself to let go of whatever excessive fears that life has caused you to have. Just let go of that. Allow yourself to get to a good place within yourself. Domestic violence, abusive relationships, that's such a trigger topic for so many people. But it's such a good example of how we can empower ourselves, the ways in which we disempower ourselves and give our power away to other people. This is a very a very extreme example of the consequences, the results of giving your power away. Like, people who are in abusive relationships, they're not asking to be hit. Are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. If you think that, that's crazy. Like, if someone is asking to be hit, why is that? Is that because that's all you know in life? Did you see that as a child, and that for you, at that point as an adult, you somehow think that, well, it hurts, but that's love. That's proof that they love me. A lot of this like really toxic way of being is learned. It's learned from childhood. So it's time to really, stop blaming yourself. If you're going through things, whatever you're going through, it's not time to blame your parents either. Okay, you got the parents that you have because they're the ones that give you the experiences you need in life. Okay, so it's time for you to really recognize, where does my adult behavior come from? What childhood trauma has caused me to react in this way as an adult? The answer is going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different for everybody. It was never about all of us being on the same page, doing the same thing. I wasn't getting hit. It was mental abuse, but that was bad enough for me. Honestly, I find mental and emotional abuse to be just as bad, if not worse, than physical abuse. Because once you leave the physical abuser, your wounds heal. Your physical wounds eventually heal. And usually physical abusers are also mentally and emotionally abusive. Okay? So the physical abuse, that eventually heals. The scars that are left internally, that keeps giving to you for the rest of your life. Until you heal internally, that's going to fuck you up for the rest of your life. Like, real bad, real bad. And you have to make a choice to heal yourself internally. You have to. You can't just be quiet about it and like, well, if no one knows, then it never happened, but it did. It did. It's something that sticks with you. Most people will develop like PTSD unless you recognize where that trauma comes from. Every time you witness All right. So, card number 26. I'm sorry, guys. I don't even know where this is coming from. Card number 26, compassion. No, you guys shouldn't be sorry, especially you, Crystal. This is what I'm talking about. PTSD is not just being triggered. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that PTSD, like triggering you, is just that you're angry. And it's not. Sometimes when you get triggered, yes, it involves anger. But the truth of triggering, when you get triggered, it takes you back to that moment, that exact moment, that whatever's triggering you, the root of it. So if you're triggered by violence, if you know your PTSD comes from something violent that was done to you, then when you get triggered, you get brought back to that very moment in your past when that was being done to you. Like your brain chemistry, your hormones, all of that. It goes back to that moment. I'm sorry, guys. I can't continue the reading. I don't know what triggered me. You guys see me as this thing that's like, I have all the answers and I've worked through all my trauma. And people think I'm just some sort of badass, and I'm not. I tell you guys that a lot. I'm not some badass. I'm a fractured child that grew into an adult. And I don't know what it is. But I'm suddenly that little girl. And I'm angry. And I'm afraid. I gotta go.